Right. And there aren't that many times when really I get very wowed by the sound of the orchestra. That was one of the times. The first time I heard the main title for that film being played by a 102-piece orchestra in Air Lyndhurst, quite frankly, I was just, you're just blown away.
So you recorded that in
We
London.
did at Air Lyndhurst. With my friend Simon, it was amazing. Simon Rose, this amazing engineer, and you know, it was a love fest. 3 weeks in London. We would record for a couple of days, and then the London Symphony would go off and perform for a day. So I would have a day or two off, and over 3 weeks we recorded this massive score. And I guess I'm old enough now where I definitely think it's probably my best score. Maybe it's the best. I don't like to even think of my own work in those terms because I think most everything I write I don't like very much. But
Really?
yeah, it's just me because I think that you always have to strive to be better. And I don't. I'm not one of those. I think it's a kiss of death. Young composers out there, don't fall in love with your own music. It's probably not as great as you think it is.
Okay,
My opinion.
but
But
do you
if I
listen
were
to
to
do you
make a
listen to
list,
your work and like let's say Lola Debney, John Debney's wife, is happens to have your score somewhere in the background and and you just hear it a little bit.
yeah.
That's pretty good.
Well, you
Do
know what?
you know
Thank.
when you hear things by accident?
I love that you asked the question because you know what my first reaction is when I hear Cutthroat or I hear Hocus Pocus or I hear some of these very very like I said, you know what? I was a young guy then, and I really wrote. I could read lots of coffee, and you're a young guy. I wrote Cutthroat when I was in my 30s, you know, and it sounds to me like a guy in his 30s. And I know maybe that sounds a little odd to you out there, but I mean that in the sense of those are my energies. I've had this chat with Bruce Brown, who's he is one of my gods. Bruce, I don't know if you're listening, but all of you out there that know who Bruce Brown is, I'm sure you'd agree with me. But Bruce has a philosophy. He has an idea. His opinion is that composers are like their personalities, and I think he's right. Back then, when I was writing Cutthroat Island, I was bouncing off the walls, and the guy 30 whatever I was, and the music sounds like that. And when I hear it now, I get tired. I do. All kidding, I get tired. I hear it and I go, oh my God, can I ever write that again?
But
That's what
but
I
in
think.
Iron Man
Could I
2,
write that
but
again?
in Iron Man 2, there's a frenetic
Oh yeah,
energy to it too. And
it's a different energy.
okay,
It's a different energy. It's a little more. I think it's a little more mature energy. I've learned a lot since Cutthroat Island. I've learned that the mechanics of film scoring. I've learned, I think, and am learning more what works and what doesn't, and what's superfluous and what is, maybe you don't need all that other counter line, and
mm,
stuff like that. But I will tell you that Cutthroat Island, because I'm a big fan of Korngold and Max Steiner and all these greats. I mean, to
the
me,
classic Captain Courageous, all these classic
Captain's
30s,
great.
40s.
To this day, I don't know those guys. I have no words. They're just we're not worthy. We those of us in my age group and younger, in my opinion. So
Oh, someone asked
you
me.
get tired. When you get older, Ray, you get tired. So now that if I were asked to do Cutthroat Island now, I would, it would come out differently. Is what I'm trying to
But it
say.
would still come out as a big swashbuckling score.
Absolutely,
Okay.
but it would be a different score. I don't know what it would be, but it would be different.
Now, a couple of things.
Yep.
Fans are asking about the Predator score,
Yes.
examples of it.
Yes.
If you go to YouTube, you can get a behind the scenes with John Debney in the
Right.
scoring session of Predators and hear a cue there. And on July 10th at 5 p.m. at Dark Delicacies in Burbank, if you're in
Be
London,
there.
buy a plane ticket now, and you get to meet John directly. He will be signing Predator CDs, and that is weeks before it comes out.
Hmm.
And also, Predator CDs will be available at Comic Con. So if you're in San
Yes.
Diego and going to Comic Con, Are you going to Comic Con?
I would love to go to Comic Con. I just haven't really looked at the time frame and if I can get away. Problem is usually it's like how it is. You finish one thing and you go into another thing, and it all.
July 22nd.
I'm not sure about that. I have to check. I would love it because I brought my three boys up going to comic conventions. So don't get me on don't get me in geekdom about comic things, but
Well, that'll be another one because
I've got a lot of comics.
we're actually out of time.
This has flown by.
Yeah, it wasn't a horrible train wreck.
No, it was great. I hope that you enjoyed it out there, and I hope we weren't too silly. But actually, I think Ray did an amazing job, and he asked some great questions. You guys asked some
They
great
asked great
questions,
questions.
and I think we should do it again
We will.
because honestly, it's kind of rare for us to be able to talk about this like in this forum. So I like
So
it.
I want to thank you all for watching, and uh, stay tuned, and you'll find out who our next guest will be in the next couple of weeks. I'm debating on doing a broadcast next week from Spain, but
Wow.
either way, just be sure to stay tuned to Film Music Live, and that's justin.tv/Film Music Live. But obviously, if you're watching this, you see that. It'll be up on YouTube in the next week. And I'm Ray Costa with John Debney, and thank you so much for joining us.
Yo, thank you.